Hello everyone, I'm Kristen Oaks White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. My partner Avery Davidson is out this week. Well, this past week, the Trump administration announced $200 billion in additional tariffs on Chinese goods. The Chinese government has responded by levying $60 billion more in tariffs on products ranging from meats to chemicals and machinery. While they did not add more to grains such as soybeans, as TWILA's Neil Melanson tells us, the damage has already been done.
The latest round of tariffs on $60 billion worth of goods wasn't good news for Louisiana farmers. While it didn't put any more onto soybeans, it did cause soybean prices to go lower based on the fear that there would not be an end to this trade dispute anytime soon. Prices have come down this year more than $2 for beans and will likely stay that way, according to Greg Fox, a grain marketing specialist with the Louisiana Farm Bureau.
Well, it does feel like the markets are going to stay in that 830 to 850 range until we get a little bit more negotiations or a little bit more news out of the China talks. We're looking at negative 30s at some elevators, negative 20, negative 50. The biggest problem with the basis, that comes from the barge market.
The barge basis is the price for using barges on the Mississippi River. Usually for Louisiana farmers, it's positive, meaning they get paid extra because barges don't have to travel as far upriver. Right now, though, those barges aren't going anywhere, and farmers have to pay extra to move them. Worse, grain is stockpiling from other areas.
The other factor that we haven't seen in years is the Pacific Northwest is not loading out to China. So the rail that would go to the Pacific Northwest, that old crop has come to the Gulf. So that added to this negative basis because you just have more grain to pull from.
Fox says if this dispute with China changed tomorrow, we would still have the same barge situation this year.
I do believe if the tariffs were solved, I think this market could easily run back up to 10, but it's not going to fix the basis. Our basis is still going to be at a negative level until we can chew up those barges and the rail that's sitting out there now. And again, another problem with the basis, you're going to start to see new crop Midwest grain come downriver. That's just going to add to the already stagnant barge market.
If there is one positive out of this, Fox sees, it's that American grain might get shipped to South America. Countries there will either use the grain internally or act as a reseller for China.
Earlier in the year, we did see where we made some sales into Argentina. Depending on what Brazil's sales are and Argentina's needs, we could see where we pick up some more of that South American export business.
Now, while both sides have said they are willing to come to the negotiating table, for the moment, there's no end in sight. We'll keep you posted with any new developments on our website. And Kristen, of course, this thing just doesn't have any end in sight. We've seen so many times where they've gotten close, but, one side or the other doesn't back down. And a lot of this has to do with Chinese intellectual property. They're taking American intellectual property for their own and making goods. And so I think that's really the sticking point. But in the meantime, I'm sure as you've seen, soybean prices have just suffered, and we've almost got a logjam now of barges on the Mississippi River. Greg Fox told me earlier today that they're even seeing some backup in Memphis and other areas, so it just isn't going to be good this year for soybean farmers, at least.
Well, that I know, and not news I wanted to hear, but I will tell you, I know that a lot of farmers are looking to the bailout, so to speak, the money and then thinking that that's going to help a lot, but if the tariff problem doesn't get resolved, this is really just a Band-Aid on a broken ankle, as they've been saying. So,
right, and what about next year? I mean,
exactly.
That's the big thing. Are they going to pony up that much money next year? So, what farmers really want is that open trade so they can, have those markets to sell their crops into. Exactly.
Well, thank you for bringing us up to speed on an important issue, Neil Melanson. While the USDA has worked out how it will dole out $12 billion to aid in farmers impacted by low commodity prices, Congress has yet to get the 2018 Farm Bill on the president's desk. Louisiana 5th District Congressman Ralph Abraham is the only member of our state's delegation to sit on the House Ag Committee and the Conference Committee reconciling differences between the House and Senate versions of the Farm Bill. He says the biggest difference between those two versions deals with work requirements for people to receive assistance through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Congressman Abraham is confident the conference committee can reach an agreement before the current farm bill expires on September 30th. According to the LSU Ag Center, there are around 100 agritourism operations in Louisiana. A portion of those are rice farmers who host guests at the Yellow Rails and Rice Festival each November. Another group of agritourism consists of You Pick farms, where you can pick your own fruits and veggies to take home with you. And the smallest group of agritourism operators are what the Ag Center likes to call agritainment. As well as Carl Wigger shows us, Rosedown Plantation has a new attraction that falls into this amazing group.
Rosedown Plantation has been welcoming guests for decades in St. Francisville, the heart of plantation country. But now there's a new reason people are coming to the historic site, and it's found in the land that surrounds the home. Derek and Casey Luckett began this partnership with the state, and now less than 1 year later they are opening their pumpkin patch and corn maze.
We have a 10-acre corn maze, and everybody can come explore the corn maze and all the twists and turns. We're going to have different stations set up, and they have different agriculture facts. If you look at the corn maze, you can see the tomatoes in there. We're going to have a fun fact about tomatoes and pumpkins and all the different areas that are in the corn maze. Buy fresh, buy local. We'll hit on those points as well.
Eventually, the couple plans to bring more of their fruit and vegetable production to Rosedown Plantation, where there is ample room. But Casey says right now she loves how excited the kids get when they see the pumpkin patch.
Wait for me! I love to see people experience our hard work. Get out here and get to play and run through the fields. The kids really liked running out there in the fields and picking the perfect pumpkin.
Luckett Farms at Rosedown Plantation will be open for guests and even school field trips from now until Thanksgiving week. The pumpkin patch and corn maze are really fun, but they're also great tools to teach guests about agriculture.
You can expect to learn about agriculture and then have a good time. We're going to do our school field trips. They can take a tour of the corn maze and then a hay ride and pick out the perfect pumpkin. We'll weigh it and measure it and decorate it and learn about the life cycle of a pumpkin and how they grow.
This is the first week for the Lucketts to welcome guests onto the farm at Rosedown Plantation, and I was lucky to be one of them. My initial review, it's hot. Derek and Casey are working on ways to cool down visitors, especially while working through the maze. Hopefully Mother Nature will do her part in the next few weeks as pumpkins finish ripening and the corn maze turns golden. And Kristen, it's really cool because I've kind of gotten to see this happen, kind of gotten to see them plant and even cultivate before all that, and seeing kind of the maze and the pumpkin patch come to life. And it's really neat to see seeing Derek and Casey kind of getting to see the fruits of that labor right now.
I know we talked to them, when they were just having this idea
a year ago,
when they didn't even know whether it was going to actually come to fruition, and it really is cool. And I know you've been there on all steps. I remember when they were breaking ground there, literally, and so it is cool to watch this. And it seems like they're kind of learning as they go. The whole agritourism part.
Definitely some growing pains in this, but I think it's going to be really cool. And I can't wait to go back as a guest without a camera,
right?
And just go and enjoy a good Saturday there at the farm. And it's really cool how just agritourism is really just taken over, and it's an opportunity to share about agriculture. And for Casey being a farmer now, they are farmers, and they get to share how pumpkins grow and what this corn is not only for mazes.
Right.
So it's really cool to see that, and that's something we get to go and learn about different crops all the time. And my favorite one to learn about was sugarcane when I came down to Louisiana, because South Louisiana, because we don't have that where I come from and where you come from.
That's very true.
So I get to experience agritourism all the time when I go to farms.
Well, I'm glad that you finally, I know you've been working on this particular story for a very long time. You've gone a bunch of different times to get shots, so I'm glad to finally see it. It's a great story. Thanks, Carl Wiggers. Well, last year there were 439,000 acres of sugarcane harvested in Louisiana. According to the LSU Ag Center, the sugarcane industry contributes nearly $1 billion to the state's economy. I recently traveled out to the heart of sugarcane country to learn more about how farmers plant a field of sugarcane. And spoiler alert, it takes a lot of manpower.
Yeah, we're planting whole stalk today, so we're doing conventional cutting and loading with the soldier harvest and loading. And the planters go to the cane loader. Each one gets loaded for about an acre's worth of seed, comes back in the field and spreads it out mechanically down the middle of the open furrows. What you've seen is the cane's already laid down. The two-row cane harvester has made a 4-row pile, and the planter cart's coming up to the tractor and that to the loader. It's about to get loaded. This is the way we've been doing it as long as I can remember. It lays the cane down on an angle in the cart. Like I said, that cart will probably plant about an acre, maybe a little bit less. We do about 30 to 35 acres a day with 3 machines, so about 10 acres per tractor per cart. So we like mechanical. We get a little bit, we put a little bit more seed down than by hand. By hand it's metered, but it takes a little bit more labor. We do both. I guess it just depends what your preference is. On a hot day, I think it's a little bit easier to do mechanical. That gets a little bit later in the season. Cane gets taller. You plant by hand. You get a little bit better seed rate because you're really measuring the stalks and counting how many you put down. We plant 1 row at a time, about 5 miles an hour, I guess. So it takes about 15, 20 minutes to empty the cart. We could probably get by if we're just quicker if we walk. If the tractors if there's a skip or they can be a little less forgiving, I guess, because we're walking. So there's a gap, or they leave a skip, or they don't finish the row right. We got guys that fix it. They don't have to stop and do it. Where at times, if you want to plant that without fixing, then you just straighten the ends and cover. And we've done that as well. If the weather's threatening, we short-handed. You got to be a little bit more deliberate. It's more operator is more responsible for what he's planting, which they can do. But it's quicker just to lay it down and just let guys follow along. And it's my regular crew anyway. These are my harvest guys. So we're looking for, they want to work in it. It's not like we're bringing extra folks in to do it.
Gotcha.
This field actually was planting soybeans on a 68-inch cane row, and we harvested yesterday. We come in today. We deepen the middles, reshape the row a little bit, run a chisel plow shank on top of the row, kind of break the bean stubble up, kind of loosen the soil. Then we come in with an opener, and it opens a V-furrow.
To watch the extended version of this unique planting process, head on over to our website at twilatv.org. Did you know that there are around 3,500 women working on farms in Louisiana? And this week, one of our own farm women will be featured on a nationally aired TV program called Farm Her. Katie Sistrunk works on her family's farm in Plaquemine, Louisiana, and she says it means a lot to her to be able to work with her dad and brother and tell people about their way of life. Katie will show Farm Her host Margie Geiler-Alanis how sugar goes from the field to your table in the episode airing this weekend on RFD TV. To find showtimes, head on over to our website at twilatv.org. Before we go to break, we have some sad news to report. Larry Rutledge of Washita Parish passed away last week. He was 70 years old and died after a long battle with cancer. Larry served as the Farm Bureau president in Washita Parish for the past 13 years. As his obituary noted, he lived on the same piece of ground for the last 70 years, raising horses and cattle on his family farm. In addition to being Washita Parish Farm Bureau president, Larry was the past president of the Louisiana Stock Horse Association and the Louisiana Agribusiness Council. Larry is survived by his wife Janet, as well as his sons Gabriel and Zachary, and 2 grandchildren. He embodied everything it meant to be a true cowboy. He was a dear friend of my family, and I know that he will be greatly missed. Memorials in his honor can be made to the Patrick F. Taylor Hope Lodge in New Orleans, and we will link you to that on our website at twilatv.org. Well, September is Rice Month, and since it's almost over, we thought we'd take a shot at serving rice up with a flair. On this week's Feasting on Agriculture, AJ Sabine brings us a taste of Oaxaca down on Old Metairie Road at the brand new Zocalo.
Feasting on Agriculture with AJ Sabine is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Hey there folks, I'm AJ Sabine. Guess what? I'm hungry. So this month on Feasting on Agriculture, I decided to come out to Old Metairie to check on my old friend Sean Putrivera at his new restaurant, Zocalo. Joining us now is Chef de Cuisine here at Zocalo, Sean Pooch Rivera. And Sean, congratulations on the new spot.
Thank you, sir.
What are we cooking today?
Today we are cooking a rice pudding made with Cajun country rice here, for which we try to source local.
Awesome. Now your spot is right here in Old Metairie. What is the theme of Zocalo?
Zocalo is a traditional Oaxacan Mexican restaurant. So there's a lot of Tex-Mex, a lot of Mexican themed type restaurants here in Louisiana, here nationally. But what we're doing here is something that's authentic to the region of Oaxaca, Mexico.
Now, Sean, in addition to this wonderful rice pudding you're going to make, you got a wonderful skirt steak that we heard about. Is that right? Tell me about it.
It's Louisiana beef. We cut it in-house, outskirt steak. We marinate for 3 days and then put it on the grill. Serve it with some rice, Cajun country rice.
That's right.
Black beans and a little chimichurri, house-made chimichurri.
Awesome. Now look, I know I'm a magician here on camera, but you're a magician in the kitchen.
I'll try to.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Let's do it, baby.
Let's do it. Sean, we're in your kitchen.
Sir.
What just went down?
We put down one of our skirt steaks, one of our best sellers here. USDA Prime Louisiana skirt steak.
Tell me about your marinade. Why is it so important to marinate this thing for 3 days?
What we do is actually a secret marinade, but it's one of our executive chef and owner, Edgar Cairo. It's one of his family recipes that he's brought back from Colombia. So we've kind of we've added some Oaxacan seasoning to it and things like that, but we prefer not to be in that we're
Oh yeah, absolutely. We don't want to give away any family secrets, but you also have some grilled onions on here as
we
well.
have chipotle sauteed onions. So we smoke our own chipotles, then we take the sauce and actually baste our onions in those for the actual bottom.
What I can tell you folks, the smells coming off of that grill, I cannot wait to taste this skirt steak with the wonderful chimichurri sauce that goes with it. So what has the response been from customers who you sell this skirt steak to?
The response has been great, actually, on the whole menu. It's a lot different than what people have been expecting out of Louisiana, and especially out of Tex-Mex. People have been more expecting Tex-Mex, and we're giving them more authentic. So, there's people that come in and they expect something totally different, and that's what we enjoy. We enjoy wowing them. We enjoy giving them something that they thought they wanted, but now they realize it's a little bit better.
Now, this spot hasn't been open that long. You've got
2 months.
2 months, and it's been great, right?
That it has been. We've been so busy. I'd love a day off.
Earlier, I promised you pudding. Chef Figs here is going to make our rice pudding. So what do we start with, Chef?
All right, so we're going to start with 3/4 of a cup of a long grain rice, cinnamon sticks, and
Great.
a pinch of salt.
Louisiana rice, right?
Yes, Cajun country. So we put it in our pot, take 1.5 cups of water, pour it in.
Is that diet water?
No,
Okay.
regular H2O. the
Gotcha.
good stuff.
Right on.
So then we're going to lid it with some foil.
Now, what is the foil for?
It's to help let it steam so the rice absorbs all of the water inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do it for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
You will add your sugar.
Gotta love sugar.
That's got a little bit of vanilla bean in it,
Awesome.
as you can see.
Yeah, show folks that there's vanilla beans.
You will add,
Look at that. All right.
yeah. And then you will add 4 cups of milk once it's all steamed, and you'll cook it up until it's thick, kind of like a porridge or a soup.
Ooh, yummy. So what does it look like after it's done all that
And so
magic?
once it's done and you've got all the magic, comes out nice and beautiful.
That looks fantastic. Thank you, Chef Figs. Thank you so much. And folks, when we get back, Sean Rivera and I are going to dive into this wonderful rice pudding as well as the skirt steak. Stick around. Right back. All right, folks, we're back. You know, it's the most wonderful time for my segment, which is the tasting part. We're here again at Zocalo in Old Metairie. What's the address?
2051 Metairie Road.
And believe me, the smells coming out of this kitchen is absolutely fantastic. Sean, give us a recap of what we have here on the table.
What we have here is our best seller. It's a carne asada. It's just basically a skirt steak, outside skirt that we cut and marinate here. Black beans, jasmine, Cajun country rice.
Awesome.
Little pickled onions and green, little bit of green onion.
In addition to this wonderful skirt steak, we've got a wonderful cocktail here at Zocalo that would go great with this dish. It's the Margarita de Peña.
That it is.
Is that right?
Very good.
Cheers. Here's to you. Now, see, that's absolutely wonderful. I taste the pineapple de peña, cilantro, jalapeno, And what is it?
El Tesoro.
El Tesoro Blanco.
Which means white. Yeah, it's white.
Absolutely wonderful. So, as I said, folks, this is the most wonderful part of the segment where I get to dive into this wonderful skirt steak.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, tell folks who aren't familiar with a chimichurri, what is that?
The chimichurri is a blend of different oils. You can actually use a lot of different things, but it's a specific to herbs and oils. So you can accompany with onions, garlic, what have you. You can use a basil chimichurri, parsley chimichurri, cilantro chimichurri. This here is a cilantro chimichurri.
I got to stop you right there. What is in that marinade? And it's absolutely the best skirt steak I've ever had.
It's an Edgar Caro family secret. That's
what
executive chef.
Folks, you got to get over here and get this skirt steak. That's absolutely amazing.
You make me have to try it.
You got to try it, bro. It's really good.
I do.
You eat your own cooking?
Sometimes.
Okay, well, that's good.
When allowed to, you know.
Now, folks, when you want to finish off this wonderful skirt steak, we've got another wonderful Louisiana rice product. You heard me and Chef Figs earlier prepare this wonderful rice pudding. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You got some golden raisins in here.
What are the rum sauce? A little bit of lime zest, fresh nutmeg, and it's outstanding. It's one of my favorite things to eat. I usually eat that every morning, honestly, for breakfast.
Dude, this looks absolutely wonderful. While I'm eating this, tell folks where you are, how to get here, and what your hours are.
We are on Metairie Road. We're open for lunch from 11:30 to 3 o'clock. Then we open back up for dinner service from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. On the weekends from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We'll be happy to see you. We encourage you to make reservations on Open Table or call in, and we'll be happy to accommodate you.
Chef Figs, this is wonderful! Absolutely fantastic, folks. If you guys want more information about Zocalo here in Old Metairie or Louisiana Rice, you can always log on to our website at twilatv.org. That's all from Old Metairie, folks. On behalf of Sean Pooch Rivera and the rest of the staff here at Zocalo, we'll see you next time.
For more information about Zocalo, Louisiana Rice, or if you'd like to suggest a farm-to-table spot for AJ to visit, please log on to our website at twilatv.org. Before we leave you today, we're sending you off with a little boost to make you smile. September is National Rice Month, as we said earlier, and we found a video that will certainly have you celebrating with a laugh all month long. Rice Farming TV produces videos about, you guessed it, farming rice. And this month they produced this hilarious satirical video about a third-generation Rice Krispies Treats farmer. We hope you enjoy this as much as we did.
My name is Matthew Sliger, and I'm proud to say that I'm a third-generation Rice Krispie Treat farmer. My granddaddy was a Rice Krispie Treat farmer, my daddy was a Rice Krispie Treat farmer, and I'm just happy to be carrying on the family legacy and tradition of snapping, crackling, and popping out these delicious treats. The most rewarding part of being a Rice Krispie Treat farmer is certainly harvest. The hard work we put throughout the entire crop year is represented in these delicious little crispy marshmallow treats. The most demanding part of being a Rice Krispie Treat farmer is in the spring when we prepare to put in a new crop. We only seed with high quality Rice Krispie cereal and then let nature run its course. Rice Krispie Treat farming's not for everybody. Me, I was born to do it. Nothing like a freshly harvested Rice Krispie Treat.
That does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week where we'll show you how Louisiana rice farmers are giving back to their communities. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.